Everyone, this is Stacey with the Healing Collective, and I wanted to just talk a little bit today about stages of change. When we go about making a change in anything, it's not just a light switch. It doesn't just go from one to the other. There's some different phases that we move through, and it doesn't matter what framework you're looking at things through or what approach your therapist might be taking. The steps that we have to go through towards change are going to be the same regardless. So at the very beginning of the process, we're in a stage called pre-contemplation. That means that we don't want to change. I'm not even thinking about it. I don't want to change. You change. So that stage is really at the beginning, where there's an unawareness, an inability, or an unwillingness to acknowledge the need for change. And when we're in that space, or when we're working with someone in that space, the biggest task that there is for us there to work on is building awareness around possibilities, around choices, around spaces to take ownership, and around opportunities for different perspective. After pre-contemplation, we move into a phase called contemplation. So we go from pre into contemplation. And in that space, I'm thinking about it. Okay, I see there's a problem. I see there's a challenge. I see there's an issue. And I'm not really ready to do anything about it yet, but I'll think about it. So in that space, some awareness has been raised. There's a recognition, but there's still a sense of ambivalence. There's not really a certainty around the benefit of what change could bring, or there isn't an understanding of how staying the same is more detrimental than change. So there's not the motivation to really push it through to the next level at that point. And so in the contemplation phase, we really are working on helping choose change, helping understand and clarify what consequences are showing up, what needs are showing up that are unmet, and really helping develop some of the motivation towards next steps. After we move out of contemplation, we move into a stage called determination or preparation. It's called either or, depending on what you're looking at. But ultimately, what that phase is a space where there's a commitment to make a change, but I'm not quite ready for the first step. So I'm gathering everything I would need to back me. I'm gathering information, I'm gathering resources, I'm gathering support, whatever I could possibly need in my corner to make this change as smooth or as easy as possible. I'm storing all of that up. I'm banking my resources. So in that determination or preparation stage, what we're really working on there is determining what really is needed and what is maybe a little avoidance or fear, and helping work through some of the emotion that's showing up, that's having us stand right at the crossroads, but afraid to put the next foot out. So after the determination or preparation phase, we move into action. This is the point where we're really ready to take some next steps. We've identified what's going on, we've gathered our resources, we've made the commitment, and we're ready to start walking a different path. In that spot, in the action phase, there is not an expectation that we're going to do everything right all the time. There's not an expectation that it's always going to be a forward march. In the action phase, we sometimes feel like it's one step forward and two steps back. But the important thing there is that we're recognizing that we're putting an intentional effort towards change. In that space of action, we're implementing strategies, we're exploring what really works for us and what we might need to learn from, or what we might need to eliminate to help our path feel a little smoother. But we're taking some next steps. Following the action phase comes maintenance. That's the place where I have done all of the hard work and I'm just maintaining a new norm. In that space, I've met my goal, I've achieved this change, and I'm really working on consistency. I'm working on not slipping back into old patterns or back into status quo, and really maintaining that new behavior. And with that, sometimes there is relapse. That's a sixth stage, relapse or recurrence of old behavior. And that's a space where maybe I do slip back into some old patterns. Maybe I do show up with some old thinking or old beliefs kind of infiltrating my change behaviors. And should that arise, our task there is to work on recognizing it and course correcting. If I find myself in some reoccurrence of old behavior during a maintenance phase, I don't necessarily have to go through every single step to get back to where I was. I am able to course correct right back into action or right back into maintenance, because a part of recovery is building the skill sets that we need to be able to keep ourselves in healthy space. It's not about perfection or making sure that we don't make any mistakes or making sure that we never make a wrong choice again. It's really about understanding how to be intentional about recognizing where we are and where we want to be and closing that gap.